Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Sports Show, as well as Sports Inside and Out. I'm your host, Earl Basden. Joining me is co-host Coach Hatcher, and we are joined by none other than legendary Johnny Walton. Mr. Walton, thank you very much for joining us. You were the first African-American quarterback to lead a professional football team to a title when the Indianapolis Capitals defeated the San Antonio Torres 44-38. But as we celebrate Martin Luther King week, or Martin Luther King holiday, I'm so glad that Coach was able to get you to join us, because history making is history making. And one thing, whenever you become the first, you will always be the first. And I want to commend you for staying the course, fighting the battles, and to be first is something that no one could ever take away from you and your career. Coach, you've known this man for quite some time. What's your impression of Mr. Walton?
Everybody that knows and respects him, and he has always been a gentle and very subdued legend of impact. Johnny was probably the most profound African-American quarterback of an HBCU nature in the country. Now, we're talking about Doug Williams, Warren Moore. You're talking about his company is tremendously what you call idealistic. He's at the apex, but he's always been a one of control and a leader without even speaking. At City State University, I think, in working with him and another legend that we know of course, A.B. Whitfield and Jethro Pugh and the Cats, Johnny was truly respected as being the linchpin of the quarterbacks thinking and really believing that they could make a difference in a future in the NFL. One thing that Johnny has always been I would definitely say a facilitator and a proxy for is using the sport to enhance education and beyond, and also standing up to be something that you're capable of being. That is, to my opinion, and everyone. I can't think of a African American or HBCU quarterback that's not respectful. When he was there with the Philadelphia Eagles, there's no question he should have been the starter. He is so well respected, and when people saw this intelligent man with such a long and strong arm, I mean, this guy get on. You think he can get on the go, and the next thing you know, he's throwing a spiral, not completely to the other end of the field, but I would say close around the 10 or 12 without any effort. But I think his greatest aspect was what and how he carried himself off the field. I can't think of anybody else to better even be on right now, because at this particular time, Earl and our listeners, particularly the listeners that are streaming and listening to us in the U.S. And around the world, of course, what your content provides is that he was one of the first. He was the class, and Martin Luther King's birthday was not only special to me because he was responsible. Martin Luther King is responsible, but Johnny came right there in the apex that put him to a point that he could be exactly what he wanted to be and not be thrown into what you call a cornerback, which was the
Mhm.
final result of many quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Uh, Me, it's it. I can honestly honor. I want to be the first one to announce that this guy deserves what he become a part of, and this is the elite of the elites of black sports. I wish to God I could possibly one day just get a nomination in the Black Hall of Fame, Black Sports Hall of Fame, with the
Yeah.
likes of Doug Williams and Shaquille O'Neal, and of course any black legendary um, athlete in any sport
Mhm.
is honored to be up in the caliber of the elite of the elites.
Mhm.
Those truly to help make the game of professional sports.
Sure.
And John epitomizes. I love talking with him, and his lovely wife and his family are so much of indicative of a family unit and team. You
Mhm.
know, if that took that quarterback prowess.
Yeah. Well, let me ask Mr. Walton, going through school and everything, being the first black, that wasn't on your mind. You just wanted to play football. Is that kind of how things went for you?
Well, the first Earl, let me say thank you, Coach, for being so not modest and giving me my accolades, but and it's gracious to you guys too, and I thank you all for letting me be a part of this. But I was not the first black to play football. A young man by the name of Pollard was the first to play in the National Football League. But it being that I was the first from the state of North Carolina
Mm.
to play in the NFL, so that within itself speaks volume. At first, I said to myself, "That's no big deal," but after you look at it, 40 years later, it's a big deal. It's, and it's something that I look back and say that really wasn't one of my big expectations. I just wanted to play in the NFL.
Hmm.
But after things start happening, God is such a good God. If you believe in Him and believe in His promises, if you work hard, if you believe in the seed, the seed. If you put effort in it and put the seed in the ground, if it's good ground, you're gonna harvest some good harvest. And I think that I did the hard work in the college, which propelled me to get a chance in the NFL. And if I got there, I didn't get some of the opportunities some of the other young men did. And when you talk about Doug, now he came in the 60s.
Mm.
What I did happened in the 70s. So Doug did a great job. And I still think that's one of the best Super Bowls that I've ever seen. It brings tears to my eyes because not that I'm wanting to be Doug Williams, but he did a great job.
Mm.
And I felt like anybody given an opportunity, if it's God's will, it will happen. It will
Yeah.
happen.
Having someone to kind of emulate, to follow, how important did you think it was to make sure that you reached the pinnacle of your career by doing it the way you had to do it?
Well, and I wrote a book saying underrated
Mm.
because I just wanted to let people know that you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but you hope your good days overpower your bad days, but you try to learn. You try to learn from each day.
Mhm.
If you give me a good day, I'll be happy. If you give me a bad day, it's something I should get experience from.
Mhm.
But if you give me the best day, that's the memories that comes back to you and you reflect upon them, and it can't do anything but make you feel good. But being a seasoned person as I am now, each day when I wake up, I said, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord." Every night that I go to bed, I say the same thing. So you've got to be appreciative of
Hey,
whatever God has given you, and He gave me the gift, and I use it to my optimum, to the
Mm.
optimum. Yeah.
Coach?
I just want to say, in with what we're talking about right now, I like to get to the crux of the business and the recognition of our legends because, as you know, Sports Insider out now, in collaboration with the great Bermuda Sports Program of you, Earl, and of course the government there now seems to be moving and making it impactful for a uniworld program. So what we got is we tell the stories of the legends, and mostly the legends of African American descent we concentrate on because not only are they overrated, underrated, they are underappreciated, not just with the whites and those that support the fan base, you want to call it, the money making fan base, but our own. Our young kids need so desperately to be able to know who and how the opportunities that they have now in the professional sports, where it came from.
Mm,
And everyone, I can honestly so happy to say, Earl, we're bringing the 300 plus roster that we have with African American greats. Starts off with Earl Lloyd, the first black to play in the NBA that that we was found of, and of course helped Wiley and so many others. But it goes right on down to what Johnny is talking about. We have to tell the stories, and we are in a situation now. We're in the fraternity of professionalism. Uh, Johnny can tell you those who have played professionally, and I was fortunate enough, God willing, to have a good professional career, not a superstar, but able to put it into a perspective that God has put me in a situation to be able to do what I do. We
mm,
have stories to tell of how you can make it if you apply and have the plan and the grace of God.
mm,
All
definitely.
you hang with, and that's what professional athletes are about: teamwork. Who
Hmm.
you You don't want to hang around with a guy that's a loser.
Hmm.
A loser, or be tagged that. So therefore, you apply that gift that God gave you, which is a very fine and minuscule thing in the eyes of many. It's a special gene that an athlete of African American descent or of color has to go through and have to be successful in professional sports. And when they do, they make the biggest imprint. Mistakes, yes, but the overriding factor of the overall value of what they contributed to society is right there. I'm dedicating my life to this thing, not only because of my family involved with my stepson, Dominique Wilson, and all the other kids that I had fortunate to be professional sports, but because of the logistic concerns and relationships I have with guys like Johnny Walton, my co-host Wally, and so many. The past, hate to say, 6 years. So uh, it's something for him to step up on that stage and be inducted. I think he would tell you more likely better than I can. Uh, uh, Earl, you must hear this thing about him being inducted to the ultimate Hall of Fame,
Hmm.
is the Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm,
Yes,
yeah.
it really makes me proud. I came out of college in 1969, and now it's 1942. So you're looking at 50 years of. I put the effort in college. Like I said, it propelled me to the NFL, and then I did some things in the NFL that was pretty justifiably. Uh, and then, like I said, when you put the work in, if God gives you the gift and the talent, if you put the effort in, all you got to do then is sit back and wait,
Hmm.
then watch, and things will start to happening for you. It took me 50 years to go into the Black College Hall of Fame. That tells me that there's a wide range of fans that have remembered and reflect on the things that I have done to give me that opportunity. So this June in Atlanta, Georgia, 8 best of the best in college players and coaches will be inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And to me, that's the ultimate, because I can't go no bigger than that. I know I'm not going into the NFL Hall of Fame, but to me, I feel that's as good as those other guys. When they put on their jacket, it'll fit just like mine will. And I'm just so great and happy that the experiences that I've gone through in life, God has given me a chance to reap it and see it. You know, when you watch and things start happening for you, let me tell you, earlier this year in October, they renamed a park in this city for me. You know, at first I said no big deal, but like again, you think about it, it is a big deal for a park to be named in your honor. So it made me proud, and God is continuing to do things for me. You know, it might not be about football, but He's continually working in my life. And hey, what can I say? When you have your best days, all you can do is remember it through memories. And hey, this is a memory moment right here. You know, that's talking to you guys, and I will always treasure those times. I will always treasure those times.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about not being drafted and then being picked up. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. Well, Mr. Walton, you weren't drafted coming out of college. However, you did go, you signed as a free agent with the Los Angeles Rams. Dick Vermeil was the coach at that time. And then he saw something in you when you went out and you were recruited by Philadelphia. So can you just explain what it's like to be, I guess, disappointed at not being drafted, but then someone seeing the potential and the talent to then sign you on?
Well, I was just a country boy, Earl, leaving Elizabeth City. And I didn't have that many people to mentor me, because at the time there was only Jeffrey Pugh who had the NFL experience, and he was a defensive lineman. So he couldn't really express to me some of the things that maybe I should have known or heard from someone. But it was nerve wracking, because I know I'd had a great college career. My last 2 years, we won 17 and 3 games, out of out of 20 games. So that was a pretty good record. And going into my, and all guys that think they have pretty good talent wait around the television to see how the drafts look. And when it doesn't happen, it's kind of, it's disheartening, but I was lucky. I played in a bowl game my senior year where I only played for two plays, and both of those plays were passes to the same young man. One was for 45 yards of a touchdown, and the other one was for 52 yards of a touchdown. Boy, the crowd was going crazy. And the scouts in the booth were talking. I had $1 million arm, $1 million arm. But luckily, Tank Younger, this HBCU is a wide range of people. And I've met so many people, man. And you meet people in your past and your future. Some of them good, some bad, but they make you who you are. Tank Younger took me on and signed me with the Los Angeles Rams. But at that time now, it was not Dick Vermeil that was head coach. It was George Allen.
Okay.
And that name really hits a bell, I'm sure, because he was great as a coach. But he believed in veteran players. So, even though I was there, not being a veteran player did not work in my favor. But I met Dick during that time. And that's something that has a carryover to it.
Right.
4 years later, he became the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. And he remembered me. So he brought me on, and that's how the relationship grew. And, he gave me everything but an opportunity, because if I had gotten that possibility, hey, you never know, I played with the Eagles for 4 years, and then a coaching job became available at Elizabeth City State University, my alma mater. So it was pretty hard for me to pass that one up because I was thinking, I was looking down the future for state stability. But I know looking back, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have gone in 2 more years. So that's when this Eagles went to the Super Bowl. They lost, but I would have at least had an opportunity. And you never know, Ron might have slipped down on a banana peeling or something. I may have been the first black quarterback in the NFL to play in the Super Bowl, but Doug Webb got that accolade, and I'm glad for him.
Sure. Before I go back to coach, one of the things as a backup, you almost have to be tuned in right from the start because you never know when you're going to have to actually get into the game. So tell us, when you were playing, what was some of the things that the backups had to do to ensure that they were ready if called upon in the first minute, the first quarter, the fourth minute of the third quarter, or whenever?
You had to prepare this like you were going to be the starter, because you never know, because you're only one play away. It didn't happen, but it did happen at one time. The same year that I stopped playing football, one Monday night football game against the Dallas Cowboys, Ron got hurt. Too Tall Martin and Harvey, they hit him. Jones, and they hit him, and he was out. Had to go to the locker room. Within 2 minutes, I was responsible with the team to put 10 points on it, and that's what we beat the Cowboys by that night. And that propelled us to go on and win the conference for the first time over in 5 years span. So you got to prepare. You got to watch film. You got to do the same thing that the number one man is doing. Matter of fact, during the week of work, I probably ran more plays than Ron did because I had to run all of the defensive plays for the defensive team. Then I ran a few of ours. So, I was more prepared than he was probably. But it doesn't matter until you see it on the stats. But one year, at the 78 season, I had thrown 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and I had 60% completion record. I was on my P's and Q's top and everything, but never got the opportunity. So, that's the deflating thing about it.
Yeah. Coach, when you see someone like Johnny Walton getting the opportunity, grabbing the opportunity whenever he was called upon, what does it mean for you? I mean, you're involved in sports as well, and on a, I wouldn't say equal level, but you're in the professional world as well. What does that mean for you in your, I guess, your personal feelings about seeing another Black man, rising to the occasion whenever called upon?
Well, it's always inspiring. Johnny has always been this just specifically Johnny. It did me a lot to hear someone that I know Johnny knows his name, one of the greatest football players in football, particularly one of the definitely top two in college, was a great Eagle, played with injuries and knew what it was to know and be ready for an opportunity was Leroy Keys.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Leroy Johnny.
Yes.
I used to a couple of other guys there that were there, Big Fleming there and Carmichael. I mean, used to hear about the respect that he has was something to behold because he was in control of the locker room. They tell me, I mean, Ron Jaworski was a real very transitional little short guy. I mean, he was smart, but he also knew the value of African American football players.
Yeah.
He supported them, and he really did a good job in draining and protecting the nuance in the situation that he had with Johnny to become as comfortable in there as he could, because Johnny was really the one. Even the fans, and Philadelphia fans are there's something, and they know the game.
Oh, trust me.
So when he came in, or when anything came on, a couple of plays in a quarterback situation looked bad, you heard it. You heard that Johnny Walk. We want Johnny Walk, Johnny. And that's indicative of what, as being I was drafted as a free agent into the ABA. Fortunate enough to catch on for a second with the Indiana Pacers, but my livelihood and my career was professional basketball in Europe. So out of the countries and things that I played, it did me very much of a solid to be able to see some of the guys that I knew in the league now having an opportunity to play, as I had an opportunity to play in the ABA, but now they were moving on and doing something special in the NBA, and some of them didn't get a chance to really play on the court, but they did get a chance to be on the team and garner the accolades of something that was very special to them, which is making a living playing a child's game is a great pleasure and an honor to me and all the other guys of the professional ring on sports itself. But when you start talking about teamwork and class acting in the arena of off the field, then those who migrate toward those who show that dignity and calmness and spirituality, those are the ones that are admired the most. You want to be at. So therefore, to me, Johnny was just like Walter Payton, that I knew very well. Him and that you met yourself, Earl, and our listeners. That is an epitome of what Johnny. He let his actions, not on the field, off the field. It wasn't a person that did not admire, respect him just as much as what he did off the field, what he was on the field. He's a credit to the African American legends, and he's so much of a pleasure being on our cadre of legends that we have here now with Sports Inside and Out. the Legends of Sports show, and of course, Bermuda Sports World. Yeah.
Mm. Well, we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have more with Johnny Keys. Johnny Walton. We'll be right back. I got my keys mixed up.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Focus putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Back. Well, Mr. Walton, as you know how fans admire players, always wanting autographs, always wanting to see someone play and so forth. So when you finally got into the NFL, going into a locker room, going into a training camp, who were some of the players you were really, really interested in, first of all, meeting and introducing yourself to, and then trying to impress to say, I belong here?
Well, I never doubted my skills, but one preseason there was a Joe Namath. We practiced against them. He has talent. A lot of the guys. Kermit Alexander was a defensive back for the Rams, and he nicknamed me Johnny Unitas. I guess I was body built similar to his, and they backing. When I was in the Canadian Football League, they called me the rifle. So, I had a powerful arm, and I knew I could throw the football now. Yeah, when I came to the line, they knew what one thing that I was going to do. I was going to throw the football. One game in the USFL, I threw the ball 55 times. That's a lot of throwing.
Yeah.
I had no fear. But in college, we threw it 25 to 30 times. So that was a change. But, Roman Gabriel was with the Rams when I first went there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought a lot of him. He was from North Carolina also, but he taught me a few things. Everybody was the Eagles always had some good players. Harold Carmichael, he went into the Black College Hall of Fame a couple of years ago from Southern University. When you throw to a guy that's 6'9" that could run like Harold, that was a blessing for us. It was just so many guys that, like I said, I have been into a world of meeting a lot of relationships, and I've been blessed with that. You don't talk to them on a day-to-day basis, but you remember the memories that you had relationships together. Charlie Smith, who played with me, he caught the football pass from me that helped us to beat Dallas that night. I've talked to him maybe 3 years ago on my way to Texas. He lives in Monroe, Louisiana. So it's still good that you meet people. I had a young man that called me the other day, Woody Peoples' son. Now, Woody Peoples played offensive guard for the Philadelphia Eagles. He passed a few years ago, but his son called me and we talked for a while. So those type of things are the things that you have when you have a great day, your best days, when those memories come back, And that's the things that I want to continue to have.
Sure. Coach, what was your first impression of seeing Johnny Walton play? What was your first impression of him, college, NFL, wherever it was?
Yeah, I saw both. And I think you remember this one. They were playing Norfolk State at all the annual Fish Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That truly was the probably most oldest and most prestigious bowl game or football game, because actually it was played at the beginning of the season, almost like something. I mean, Elizabeth City, that's close proximity. I mean, it's twin. Elizabeth City and Norfolk State, as you know, Earl and the family is another powerhouse
Yes.
And they were playing against one of the better team, Big John Baker, who will hopefully, God willing, to be on. He told me to tell you hello, Johnny. He said, you're in the right place back home. He said he ain't got to ever worry about you playing against you ever again. So, Barney, Big John was up. Great player. He'll be on someday too. But that's basically it. When I saw him in the fishbowl that one time, and what he did to a dear friend of mine named Andy Heidelberg, I mean, it was interesting because I never saw a guy in my life throw the ball like that. He was throwing the ball off the back foot, and he was falling down, and guys were catching 70-yard touchdowns. I mean, and you talk about some fast guys, man. Andy Heidelberg, he played with me, All-American level at Northview, and I mean, this guy was something. And then when I found out he got drafted, I was overseas. I was playing. I left Indiana. I was playing in, I think it was Israel, coaching, and they were giving me the things, and I was keeping up with by Wally Jones, of course, Earl. He's the Wally. What he catches everything on his going. Him and John Cheney used to tell me everything. So he said that he needs to be in there. I think we may not win the Super Bowl or division champions this year. I said, well, what's going on, man? He said he wants to put him in, but he's scared. Them Phillies gonna get them white folks in Philly gonna tear up or something. That was about it. So, but all in all, I lost contact with him for a while. Of course, when I went to Atlanta and Nick retired from the league, and things got kind of polluted. But we started getting back into the industry and contacted some of the cats. Of course, Jeff Ropew, and God bless his soul. Him and A.B. Whitfield, freaking frat there in the Cowboy rookie camp. But it was an interesting thing because now things have a chance. The Lord has a chance, always has a chance to let you see what your life's about by coming full circle. Everything in the Creator's universe is a circle. What goes around comes around. The circle of life, circle of everything, circle of our orbit. It is a circle. And what you've done to be a part of other people's lives in positive things, it may take a while, but the Lord will bring it back around. And it'll be even better than ever.
Yes.
But, if and vice versa, you'd be, I want to say a word that we don't should say, but I can say, be that butthead and be that facetious and evil user type of athlete or person in life, then the same circle applies to that person too.
Mm.
Everything around a good man brings good men out,
Mm.
and
Well,
good
Coach,
people
Coach,
always find good people.
Coach, since you mentioned the Norfolk State Fishbowl games, that's one of the biggest memories that I have, because that was
Yeah.
Elizabeth City. I tell you, a whole city would leave Elizabeth City to go to Portsmouth.
That's right.
That was the biggest thing that was ever,
The whole
you know,
city
ever
be
participated in. And you know, you name some names, Heidelberg and those guys, Reed, and those guys, they could play some football. You know, Dick Price would coach some football. That's some
absolutely.
awesome people. Like I said, the HBCU has a wide range, man. And the pictorial that AB put out there,
Mhm.
it's a must-have, because
It
it just
is.
brings back so many memories, and it keeps you in touch with memories. You know,
Oh, God,
that's what it's all about.
and you always remember how much you appreciate it by other people telling you. It's really a surprising thing. It's called a CIAA it's a CIAA sports book, HBCU pictorial of the greatest legends, and not all, collectively the moves that made the impact of the greatest legends in the CIAA HBCU. The CIAA, the oldest African American all football conference in the country, over 100 plus years. And that team, that league at one time had every major impactful HBCU in the league. That goes all over. And then of course, they divided them up into MEAC and Southern, Southwest. And
Yes.
listen, but all at one time it was all CIAA. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to come out that, not saying that I'm awfully proud to be in the book. No question about that. Do I deserve it? A lot of cats were out there. Did I pay a price to something that I thought could be of an impact? I thought about it, but it's better when you hear other people speak of what you meant more so than yourself.
Right.
And I do take it for that. And that was to be with Johnny Walton and Elizabeth. Come on now. And my friend Mike Gale, who I was able to play with at the ABA. I mean, John, I'm sitting with, hey, I got my boy. I got the Johnny Unite. You know what I mean? I got Joe Namath lookalike. Yeah, I was kicking it. So anyway, it was a good thing for me just to be able. And God bless his lovely, lovely wife and family. My wife loves him to death. He's such a gentleman.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Mr. Walton, because when you would have gone to college, you would have been this high school star. But when you get to college now, were you a starter right away, or did you have to wait your turn, or how did that materialize?
Well, I went to college, and I played high school ball in the same city, so people knew about me.
Right.
We started the season off. The coach went with a senior ball player who played for three games, and then he moved me over, and we finished the season like 3-5 at that point. But then from that point on, the numbers got better. They got better. And the last year we went 9-1. But they had something they called the Dickinson rating system, whereby you got points on whoever you played. If you beat a top tier team, you get 10 points. But if you beat a lower tier team, you get 5 points. Came a few points from winning the championship that year. So it was a great record, but we didn't win the championship.
Yeah. So tell me about the mindset of you're this high school star, but you could have come to college, and now you're almost a spectator because you're now not that same star leading your team until after 3 games. So for those first 3 games, give us a sense of what your mindset would have been, because we have currently today athletes that are going through the same thing, but they just don't know how to handle that.
Well, I knew my time was coming because, losing can become a habit.
Mm.
And the coach, he wanted to change that habit. He wanted to win. So he said, I'm going with Johnny Walton. And from that point on, it was history, because we threw the football quite a bit after that time. And like I said, the culture changed and things started happening in a positive manner. And, as the football team went, the other sports would follow suit because, when you start the season off with football, it's the main sport.
Right.
And everybody else has to, try to catch up and keep up. And that's what happened.
Sure. We're going to take our final commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up with Johnny Walton. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
And welcome back. Well, Mr. Walton, let me ask you, transition for you from playing the game to actually going and coaching a school that was dear to your heart. How was that transition for you?
It went real good, Earl. They had talent, but the process was not there. So, I got there and did some things that was different from what the coach was doing previously. Mm-hmm. And they started believing in what I was saying. And it always helped when you play pro ball because they listen to you a little bit differently and they feel like you can help them to get to where they want to be. So, it was a good transition. The only thing changed was those dollar bills, and it can make a difference, And one thing I want to tell young men, if you get involved in something at the pro level, get somebody who has legal information that they can give you because, when I first went into the NFL, $100,000 was, hey, that's all I had on my mind, making $100,000. But hey, come find out, it was more than 5 zeros out there. So, when you start getting them big zeros, that's when it counts. And it can give you a financial base that can keep you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. But I was blessed to be able to get retirement in. So now, it comes back. So, the effort that I put in is paying off.
Yeah. What would you say would be your biggest learning curve as a coach, not as a player, because as a player, plays happen all around and you react to them, but as a coach, because you're managing so many lives, you're in charge of play after play after play. So what would you say was your biggest learning curve as a coach?
Well, in the college level,
Yeah.
I had never coached before at that level. You know, it was just they just believed in what I did. You know, everybody has different ways of doing things. You basically have the same plays, but it's a different way to make the process work. It was getting them to believe in what I was saying, and then when you win, it all kind of takes care of itself, and then you try to give them information that can help them down the road. You know, letting them know that everybody, the numbers are great for you to get into the NFL, but you must, whatever you do, you're gonna have bumps in the road. You're gonna fall, but you get back up.
Yes.
Because if you stay down there, that's where you'll be.
Sure. As you said it earlier, God has a plan. You just don't know the plan. You just have to follow the plan.
No, just follow it. And
That's
then
right.
sometimes you might make a wrong turn. But it's not too long. It ain't never too late to turn around and go back the other way.
There you go. Yeah.
And catch back up. So and then hope that God put the wind at your back so you can elevate to the height that you want to go to. Because you got to think big though. Don't think small.
Right.
You know, I never thought about being in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it at the time. So you can't dream about what you don't know about.
Yeah, that's true. So true.
But everybody know now that there is the NFL Hall of Fame. That's just nice there.
Yeah.
And if you don't make that one, make the Black College Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If you don't make that one, make the Fishbowl Hall of Fame. That was
sure. Strive. You gotta have goals. You set yourself goals.
All you gotta do is put the effort in and then wait,
Yes.
watch, and things will start happening for you.
Sure.
If it's God's will, it will happen.
It will happen. Now, Coach, I'm going to put you on the spot. Coach Hatcher, I'm going to put you on the spot because Johnny Walton will be inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame in June. If you had the opportunity to introduce him, what would that sound like?
All right, I would say I think we're inducting one of the greatest citizens, personalities, athletes, father, surrogateship, and mentor in football, one of the top 10. And I was proud to be able to see and be a part and know his impact, not just from what he did with the football on and off the field, but what I personally know he's doing for a city that he was able to bring up on his talent and still give back just as much as was given him. I would definitely say, I don't care how many people have big accolades, I said to him, and what I know the people that love him, he is the greatest legend that ever came out of the Eastern Carolina region and the state of North Carolina. That goes for the South. That means he's right there, one of the top African Americans that had an opportunity to make an impact for Black Americans in sports. And he does and will continue to do it very, very well. And I'd like to see that induction. I think that's all. I think Johnny really don't really understand how much he means now, Earl, to us, our show, and other people that know of him that he will never get a chance to meet, but they appreciate the idea of just being seen or heard, him being heard. He's going to be one of the guys that's going to make a difference. Earl, he is changing the demographic thinking and the persona of a little town called Elizabeth City, North Carolina, that's gone through so much and is continually turned. He now is in politics. He's in the city council with a progressive mayor and a lovely wife pushing him, but now he's able to go far above and beyond, because then this will be the land or the city of Johnny Walton coming soon, and hopefully that will permeate for other young men in that Eastern Carolina region to try to be the best that they can. Yeah.
Now, Coach, I'm going to put Mr. Walton on the spot.
Get him.
Mr. Walton.
You don't know,
You
man.
had the opportunity.
He talking about everything else but him.
Yeah. Mr. Walton, you have the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
What would you want the world to know about Johnny Walton?
That's a good one, Earl. I would want them to know that I've met a lot of people, and I still believe in the commandments. You know, nothing bigger than God. But then you got to be your brother's keeper. You know, if there's someone that you can help along the way, you know, you don't let your living be in vain. Help that person. Like I said earlier, I'm going and passed by many people, past and future, good and bad. But the ones that have affected me the most, and I try to affect other people the same way, is when you show love to them. You know, to these moments that you all have just given me, there's been love. I can feel it, and that's important. You know, love, faith, and charity, which is the greatest.
Yes.
Love. That's what it says now. So I want people to love me and know that I love them. That's what I want to be left. Yeah. People say something about me.
Well, one thing's for sure. When Coach told me that you were coming on, and I read quite a bit on you, one thing about me, I like to hear, or I love to hear people talk about not only themselves but their journey and how they've had to navigate through life, through sport, and everybody's story is different. However, many people talk about their trust in God and their belief, because talent is one thing. But you gotta have that faith.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. You
you don't have that faith, your talent alone can't just take you everywhere. But let me ask you: Are you today a Philadelphia Eagles fan, or are you? Who do you root for?
This year. I'm the type of guy that loves to win. And I put myself in a position to win. Last year was Kansas City.
Yes.
True Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Now you got your arch rivals this weekend.
Tough game.
Yeah. Because I mean, we've watched over the last few years the NFC East.
Yes.
Dominated football for years. We've watched the last few years where they have been disappointed.
Yes.
But here now you have 3 teams from the NFC East in the playoffs. Yes. Unfortunately, one of them's got to bow out this week because they face each other. But to see the NFC East be such a staple back in the NFL, it must be good. It must feel good because, when you look at just that division alone, you got those names and those names replicate a lot of stuff that went through the NFL for years.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, when you start talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, I spent time in Philadelphia as a young boy because my aunt lived in Philadelphia, and I had an operation there, and I had to stay for a while. But just how much that city loved sport.
It would be a very physical game this weekend.
Yes.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
On all levels, though, not just
Yes.
the Eagle Giant game.
Mhm.
That 49er Cowboy game.
Yes.
Too. So
Yes. So it's a lot of reminiscing gonna go on. There's a lot of look back at some old tapes going on, and my suggestion would be, don't wait for a commercial. You better be ready for a long afternoon of football and be prepared to watch every play, every down. Because believe it or not, I honestly feel the winner out of these two games here, the 49ers and Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles and New York Giants, one of those four teams will be in the Super Bowl.
I feel the same way.
And we'll win. Yeah.
No doubt about that. It's a more physical defensive lineman on all four of those teams.
Right. Yeah.
And that's gonna make a difference.
I think, Johnny, the black and blue is back on the East again.
Yeah, it is. and you look at now Tampa Bay didn't have no great record anyway.
Right.
So, you know that. I didn't count that one, but this one coming up is going to be two good games.
Yeah, too good not to miss games. That's for sure.
That's right. Yeah,
not to miss games. Well, Mr. Wilson, I want to thank you very, very much for your time. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your message and your journey with us here in Bermuda, as well as on in Sports Inside and Out. Coach Hatcher, I do appreciate you again.
Hey, no problem. Don't forget, Johnny is making appearances in Norfolk, Virginia, at one of the great high school things down there with some of the greats, Bruce Smith and all the guys. He will be recommended. We're gonna have some tapes of that for Bermuda Sports for y'all to see something very special. How the Shoot for the Star and Caring for Kids program, how legends really make a difference with kids in next constituency. And I do appreciate Johnny for being on that. Yeah.
And I thank you guys. Continue doing what you do.
Thank you very much. Folks, enjoy your night. Appreciate you guys.
Love you, Johnny. Take care, Earl.